On OSRC News at 7, Ondo Ekiti governments meet over lingering boundary disputes. Councillors Forum inaugurates new executives in Ondo State. JAMB releases 2025 UTME results with totals over 39,000 orders. From the foreign scene, Pakistan holds funerals for 31 civilians killed in alleged Indian drone attacks.
Good evening and thank you so much for joining us on the news at 7. I am Omoshiliola Adesoya Ajayi. Following lingering crisis between boundary communities in Ondo and Ekiti states, the governments of both states have met in Akure Ondo State capital to seek a lasting solution to the disputes. Receiving his Ekiti state counterpart and a team, the Deputy Governor of Ondo State, Dr. Laide Adelami, assured the affected communities of the joint commitment to peace and reconciliation. Government House correspondent Lima Pipi has the details of this report as presented from us to you.
The Deputy Governor of Ondo State, Dr. Laide Adelami, described the boundary disputes between Ekiti and Ondo communities as a family issue, recalling that the two states were one before Ekiti was carved out of the old Ondo State in 1996.
This session is also for us to familiarize ourselves with the issues as state. And the fact that we have sister states, brothers and sisters were together at the time, is just a demarcation, which I see as artificial demarcation, in the sense that talking about culture, language and everything, we are one, we are still one.
Dr. Adelami emphasized that the Ondo State government remains committed to peaceful dialogue and mutual understanding as tools for resolving the crisis.
The issues at stake, I won't see it as issue. Once the head are on one page, and what remains is just to, after this meeting, by the time the essence of this meeting is rolled out, I'm sure the communities involved, they will have some sign of relief that the issues at stake are being discussed already.
In her remarks, the Deputy Governor of Ekiti State, Chief Mrs. Monisade Afuye, thanked the Ondo State government for hosting the meeting, describing it as a vital step towards peace. She congratulated Governor Ayedatiwa and his deputy on their victory in the 2024 governorship election, attributing it to their people-centered policies.
We are brothers and sisters, just like Adam and Eve. We don't want any problem within us concerning the boundary. That is why we are agitating that we should allow peace to reign. You are our fathers, while we are your sons and daughters. Please let us rub minds together and let us come to the conclusion that the peace will reign in the two states.
Mrs. Afuye revealed that technical officers from both states will collaborate to design workable solutions to the disputes. Earlier, the permanent secretary in the office of the Ekiti State Deputy Governor, Abayomi Opeyemi, explained that the disputes began when Ekiti was created from the old Ondo State. He assured that technical teams from both sides will meet regularly to find a lasting solution.
The Olubadan Oba Akinloye Olakuleyin has suspended two family chiefs known as Mogaji and removed their traditional elite over land grabbing. They are Mogaji Kula, Kamaruddin Kolawole and Mogaji Samsuddin Bello. The suspension order, which takes immediate effect, was given during the Olubadan Land Matters Committee meeting at the old Olubadan Palace of Oja Oba Ibadan, the state capital. The suspension order was contained in a statement by the Chief Press Secretary to Olubadan Solomon Ayade, speaking through the Otun Olubadan of Ibadan land, Rashidi Ladoja. The Olubadan said the suspension order remains in force until the suspended mortgagees do the needful. The Senate leadership has cautioned Minister of Defense Mohammed Badaru against making public statements that could create friction between the National Assembly and executive led by President Bola Tinubu. The warning came after Badaru publicly dismissed the planned two-day national security summit by the Senate, stating that such gatherings were unnecessary in addressing Nigeria's security challenges. Speaking at plenary, Senate President Godswill Akpabio and Senate leader Okoyemi Bamidele criticized the minister's comments, warning that such remarks could undermine legislative initiatives and strain relationship with the presidency. At a ministerial briefing in Abuja on Wednesday, Badaru had said the armed forces are already better equipped and more sophisticated than insurgents, and emphasized that effective strategy, not summit, is the key to national security. Earlier, Senate leader Okoyemi Bamidele described the minister's remarks as demoralizing and unhelpful. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives on Thursday called on President Tinubu to order the deployment of additional security personnel to Plateau State following recent attacks on Boko and Basa local government areas. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has denied media reports suggesting it has recognized certain individuals as National Chairman and National Secretary of the Labour Party (LP), or reinstated a particular individual as the National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party (PDP). In a statement issued by Chief Press Secretary to the INEC Chairman Rotimi Oyèkánmi, the Commission described the report as false and misleading, stressing that no such decisions have been made regarding either party. According to the statement, the names of the Labour Party national officers currently on the Commission's website were uploaded in compliance with an earlier court order unrelated to the recent Supreme Court judgments concerning the party. Similarly, INEC clarified that the name of the PDP's National Secretary, as displayed on its website, was neither removed nor restored. The clarification comes amid heightened political tension and speculations over internal leadership disputes within both parties. President Bola Tinubu has pledged to address key developmental challenges confronting Anambra State and the Southeast region. These include erosion, underutilization of gas reserves, and Anambra exclusion from the National Rail Master Plan. Speaking at a civic reception held at Alex Ekweme Square during its state visit in Awka, President Tinubu assured the people of Anambra of the federal government's commitment to upgrading road infrastructure and fostering stronger national unity through inclusive development. Responding to Governor Chukwuma Soludo's request, the president acknowledged the persistence of abandoned federal road projects in the region. He emphasized the strategic importance of completing roads linking Anambra to Kogi State to facilitate easier access to the South-South and Abuja. You're watching the news at 7 on Osrc television. We'll take a break now. When we come back, the news continues. Please don't go away. Glad to have you back. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at Osrc TV. And on YouTube, you can subscribe to our channel Osrc TV Ondo. Recognizing the vital roles of independent voices in broadcasting, the Ondo State Radio Division Corporation Osrc Media Group has engaged independent presenters, producers, and canvassers in a business meeting. The meeting provided avenue for deeper collaboration and opportunity to improve the quality of content in the broadcasting space. space. Blessing Obi tells us more.
Content providers, independent producers and canvassers gathered for a business meeting with the management of the Ondo State Radiovision Corporation, Osrc. These freelancers play vital roles in enriching the station's programming and boosting advertising revenue through engaging content. The visit to the station was to reinforce collaboration for more effective use of the broadcast space. Director of Programs, Sunshine 96.5 FM, Alalaye, Bukola Ogunkwa, described the gathering as a platform for valuable insights and renewed commitment.
This gathering is more than a routine meeting. It is a platform for meaningful dialogue, a space where we evaluate our progress, share insights, explore new ideas, and co-create solutions that will shape the future of our broadcasting efforts. You, our independent presenters, producers, and canvassers are the lifeblood of our outreach and engagement. Whether you are the voice behind the microphone, the creative force behind the scenes, or the bridge between us and our advertisers, your roles are invaluable.
With a call for stronger collaboration, Director General of the Osrc Media Group, Kenneth Odushola Stevenson, expressed appreciation for their collaborative spirit and synergy that have kept the station thriving.
It is you, the canvassers, that help us to stay afloat, because without you, we might not be able to meet our daily budgets, because we must have content and we must have adverts to be able to run. I express my deepest appreciation for your role in this significant and magnificent tapestry of partnership and collaboration. Together we will continue to shine brighter, illuminating the path to a brighter, more prosperous future. I would like to say that since our coming on board, we have made some changes so that your marketing and your partnership can be more valuable to us. I know that very soon, we shall innovate on more things that will make your work also a lot easier. For instance, you can now see that we are broadcasting from the hours of 5 a.m. to 12 midnight.
The meeting also featured a session on presentation ethics, emphasizing professionalism, proper language use, and scripting as key components of quality broadcast content.
It is paramount of us to make sure that we display our job as a professional.
Interactive sessions provided an avenue for freelancers and presenters to share their thoughts, with many calling for better workspace and tools to improve program delivery. At the heart of the discussions was a shared commitment to reposition the Osrc Media Group for better service to the public. Blessing Obi, Osrc News.
The Ondo State chapter of the Councillors Forum has sworn in 9 new executive members drawn from its 203-member body. This strategic move is aimed at fostering unity, strengthening the platform, and ultimately enhancing grassroots representation in the state. Osrc's Abidemi Akerotoye reports as presented from us.
In a bid to deepen grassroots governance and promote unity among councillors, representatives from the 3 senatorial districts of Ondo State have inaugurated a 9-member executive committee. At the inauguration ceremony, new zonal chairmen emerged. They include Joseph Kolade as chairman of Ondo North, Fashua Orisumbare for Ondo Central, and Afolabi Osha for Ondo South, among other elected officers. The newly sworn-in executives pledged to work collaboratively to promote the interests of the councillors and the communities they serve.
We want to amplify our voice, champion our common interests, and make sure that we support state-led government to deliver the dividend of democracy to the grassroots. As you understand that we are the closest person to the people. So it's one of the reasons why we come together, we are with ourselves to champion our common interests. interest.
Our coming together, it is not for anything else than forming a united arm. Coming together in unity, coming together to forge ahead in the government of Ondo State.
The chapter's treasurer, Samuel Akinshulu, highlighted the primary aim of the new leadership to mobilize councillors towards collective goals that benefit their constituents.
We want to mobilize ourselves to know what is going in the government, to have something for our people, because we are the grassroots, we are the grass mobilizer.
Ondo Central Chairman Fashua Orisumbare stressed the need for unity and urged members at the grassroots to rally behind the new leadership to ensure their collective efforts produce meaningful results.
My advice for the people of my grassroots, from my work, from different local governments here from these states, is that I want us to be united and to be supportive to what the government is doing in the state, so that the state will be moving forward, everybody will get what they need in the state.
The inauguration of these new executives is expected to bring fresh energy and innovative ideas to the forum, enhancing its capacity to respond to community needs. With a renewed focus on unity and cooperation, the Councillors Forum is positioning itself to make lasting impacts across Ondo State. Abidemi Akinrotoye, Osrc News.
The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board (JAMB) has announced that results for the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examinations (UTME) are now available for candidates to check. In a statement in Abuja, the board confirms that candidates who sat for the examination will be able to check their scores from today. Ahead of the official release, JAMB has disclosed key performance statistics for the 1.9 million candidates who sat for the exam. According to the board, more than 1.5 million candidates scored below 200 out of a possible 400 marks, highlighting an alarming trend. Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf has commended the efforts of the Directorate of State Services for its swift and decisive action in apprehending 5 suspects linked to the kidnapping and murder of a 1-year-old girl, Sakina Mahmuda, in Dungumbake village, Gwazo local government area. In a statement by the governor's spokesperson, Sanusi Dawanke Tofa, the suspects were said to have adopted the baby girl and demanded a ransom from her family, after which they brutally killed her. Governor Yusuf expressed sorrow over the incident and praised the DSS operatives and other security agencies for their proactive response. He further reaffirmed his administration's commitment to strengthening the state security apparatus through increased investment in intelligence gathering, logistics, and interagency collaboration. And operatives of the Nigeria Police Force have rescued 25 Ivorian nationals from the hands of a cross-border kidnapping syndicate operating in Ogun State. The Force Public Relations Officer Olumiwa Adejobi stated that the operation was launched in response to a formal request from the National Central Bureau, Abuja. Adejobi said the request followed a report by Karusi Miriaman, who alleged that her son, Ladiyo Pere, had been lured to Nigeria under false pretenses by Simon Oliver and Michael Odunga with a promise to secure travel documents to Belgium. Following the successful rescue, Adejobi said Pere was reunited with his mother, who traveled from Cote d'Ivoire to Nigeria. He said the remaining 24 rescued victims were handed over to the Assistant Controller General of Immigration, Zone A Headquarters, Ikeja, Lagos, for further processing. The body of a United Kingdom-based Nigerian teenager, Valentin Ikechukwu, who drowned in a lake at Kowik Country Park on April 30, has been recovered. It was gathered that the 16-year-old had got into trouble while swimming in the lake. It was noted that emergency responders were alerted to the scene at about 5 p.m. on the day of the incident, and a search and rescue operation was conducted. The teenager's body was, however, recovered at about 8 p.m. following an extensive search coordinated by the police and emergency responders. Meanwhile, funerals were held in Pakistan for 21 civilians killed in alleged India strikes, which Pakistan calls unprovoked aggression. Protesters erupted nationwide while officials denounced India's use of drones targeting military and civilian areas. Flights were suspended, border towns evacuated, and anger over escalating tensions grew. Pakistan vows to respond, urging global powers to intervene as fierce conflict between two nuclear neighbors mounts.
Funerals have been held for 31 people killed by what Pakistan is calling unprovoked India aggressions against civilians. Even as people were being buried, more attacks were reported.
India has undertaken yet another blatant military act of aggression against Pakistan by sending Harap drones at multiple locations. Pakistan Armed Forces, being in a high state of alert and vigilance, have so far neutralized 12 Harap drones at various locations.
In several cities across Pakistan, protests have been taking place. Hundreds came out to the streets in the capital, Islamabad.
The attack that India carried out was on unarmed civilians, while the Pakistani army destroyed their military installations and aircrafts.
And the escalating tensions are having an impact on tens of thousands of people. Flights at major airports, including Karachi, Lahore and Sylhet, were temporarily suspended. Pakistan says it cannot ignore an infringement on its integrity and sovereignties, and politicians want world powers to reign in India.
Pakistan does not seek war. We've never pursued the path to conflict, but India is making it very difficult, and they're once again threatening the peace and stability in all of South Asia. I do call on the international community to play their role, because this is not just a bilateral issue, this is a global issue. It's a potential global crisis between two nuclear-armed neighbors.
As more people are killed and bodies laid to rest, grief and anger are fanning the flames at one of the world's most dangerous nuclear flashpoints. Adirunke Kolawole, Osrc News.
Victory in Europe Day marked the surrender of Nazi Germany to Allied forces on 8th May 1945 that ended the most devastating war the continent had ever witnessed. Many countries vowed to work towards a shared economic prosperity, hoping that better social conditions would help prevent the spread of radical ideas. But 18 years later, the far right in Europe is on the rise again. Blessing will be hostilities.
Ecstatic crowds cheer at the liberation of Europe, the end of a war against fascism that had lasted 6 years. The continent lay in ruins, divided between the advancing Soviet armies and those of the Allies. 20 to 30 million people lost their lives, hundreds of millions more displaced by conflict triggered in part by the rise of the organized far right. 80 years later, and the legacy of World War II still lingers.
The lesson learned from West Germany, where I grew up, is that the root cause of this is not just an ideology like Nazi Germany, but it is a form of nationalism that we should overcome by building a different political system after World War II to avoid nationalism.
This desire to avoid the mistakes of the past and secure the future prosperity of the continent fueled a need to ensure political and economic stability.
And that led to a series of constellations with regard to how you organize democracy, a social compromise with labor unions, working class, middle class, and business elites came together to create a very cohesive democracy that is now decaying.
Decades later, the far right is again a factor in politics. Once banished to the fringes, radical right politicians have now entered the mainstream in many European countries, voted in by people who feel alienated by the macroeconomic of the European Union and the increase in immigration.
Let's just say radical right-wing politics is clearly on the rise in Europe. In fact, in many countries in Europe, it's now the strongest political force. Hungary has been led by a radical right-wing populist politician, Viktor Orbán, for more than 10 years now. The Netherlands, the strongest political party, is a radical right-wing populist party. Austria, but even in Germany, the Alternative for Germany, it is now the second strongest party, constantly polling above 20%, which has been really inconceivable for many years.
The idea of European unity was created in part to prevent war.
This was an illusion we lived for 70-something years until Russia reminded us that wars are still something that happens on the continent, and we cannot guarantee that focusing on the pressing problems of the 21st century, like climate change and social cohesion and dealing with migration, that this is all the European Union has to address.
8 decades later, after the defeat of Nazi Germany, the unity of the continent is again under the threat of war, this time with Russia, as the radical right blames migrants fleeing far-flung wars and climate change for the discontent of Europe. Blessing Obi, Osrc News.
And to end Osrc News at 7, here again are some of the major stories. We told you that following legal crisis between boundary communities in Ondo and Ekiti states, the government of both states have met in Accra, Ondo State capital, to seek a lasting solution to the dispute. We also told you that the Ondo State chapter of the Councillors Forum has sworn in 9 new executive members drawn from its 203-member body. And finally, we told you that the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has announced the results for the 2025 UTME are now available for candidates to check online. And that's news at 7. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.